Loki Season 2. Yes, we are that desperate for content on this channel. Jesus Christ, why are we doing this? It's your boy Icon with a Marvel TV review for you. Season 2, Episode 1, our burrows, or they should have just called the episode Make It Make Sense. It's your boy Icon with another TV review for you, going over that Loki. And I forgot everything that happened last season. I actually had to go back and watch the last 10 minutes of the last season, of the last episode of the last season, because I'm like, what the hell are we doing? So in this particular episode, because as we know, like in the last episode that I just found out, when he was with female Loki, I forgot her name, when he was with female Loki and the two of them were fighting in the chamber, they were fighting over control because she wanted to kill Kang, and then he was just like, no, he was like, I don't want this, I just want you. And then she was just like, oh, but I want revenge. And then she kicked him through a portal, and he went back to he went back to the TVA, which is what we thought. And then she proceeded to kill Kang the Conqueror. Kang proceeded to laugh in her face, and he said, oh, I'll be back. And then, he disappeared. Then after that, we never saw her again. We never saw female Loki again. So then Loki, he was at the TVA. The TVM is basically the Legends of Tomorrow's ripoff from the Time Bureau. And when he was going around, he bumped into, what was it, Mobius? He bumped into Mobius and the big black chick. And then he was just like, oh, he was like, Kang is here. He's like, we made it to the end of time. And then he was just like, who the hell are you? So pretty much what we found out was, when he got knocked through that portal, he basically got sent back in time. And they kept telling him throughout the course of the episode, there's no such thing as back in time in the Time Bureau. But that's dumb, because if they exist, the next day goes to the next day and time goes to time, there always had to have been a previous version of them existing somewhere in time. So, but they were under the impression that there's no such thing as the past when it comes to the TVA. He proved that theory to be wrong, because throughout the entire episode, Loki was bouncing back and forth between the past of the TVA and the present of the TVA. And then we find out that when they found him, they're just like, oh, that's Loki, that's the traitor. And then he was trying to run from them. And then meanwhile, in the present, Mobius and the other chick, they were just trying to figure out what they were going to do now, because Loki spilled the beans. He told them there was a recording that the council was listening to that had Loki telling everybody that you're all variants and you're all a part of the plan, and then everything you've done is bollocks. And then he told them that he was the one that made the branches spread out or whatever. So now they're having a meeting. Like they're having, like the council's having a meeting, because Loki basically just told them that their existence is all shit. He was like, you guys have been pawns this whole time, and now they're trying to grasp this whole thing. The black chick comes in, she sits down with the council, and then she's just like, listen, we have to keep the branches growing. And then this one lady, she was just like, no, she was like, I won't hear any of it. She was like, we're going to go back to business as usual. We're going to start pruning branches. And then she told us, she was like, no, that's not what we need to do. We're pawns and everything. And then Loki popped up in the room, because when he was in the past, he went into that very same chamber room, and there were statues of Kang the Conqueror there in that room. When he ended up popping back into the present, he was in the exact same room, but then there weren't the statues there. So he took a power staff or whatever, like a taser, and he blew up the wall. And when the wall came crashing down, we saw it was the Kang statues from the past. And then that's when he tried to tell Mobius, he was like, I can travel back and forth between the past and the present. He was like, that's not possible. And then he was like, oh, but it is, because I'm time jumping. And then he witnessed him time jumping. And then Mobius was like, before we do anything else, we got to stop you from time jumping. So in order for them to stop him from time jumping, they went all the way downstairs to the basement, and they went to go talk to Jackie Chan's son, who told them that, jumping through time in the TVA is impossible. And then that's when Loki disappeared. He ended up in that exact same room in the past, and ended up speaking to Jackie Chan's son 400 years ago when he was still young. And then he had a conversation with him, and he was just like, look, bro, he was like, I'm flying through time. He's like, I'm traveling back and forth through time. And then that's when Jackie Chan's son, he was like, that's not possible. And now Mobius is in the present, having a conversation with Jackie Chan's son. Loki's in the past, having a conversation with Jackie Chan's son. And both of them are having the exact same conversation with him. And everything that the young version of Jackie Chan's son was telling Loki, the older version of Jackie Chan's son was remembering, and he was telling Mobius. And then he finally told them, he said, well, listen, in order to stop Loki from traveling back and forth in and out of time, you have to take this device that I just created 400 years ago, and you have to use this device to pull him back into the present. He said, but in order for that to happen, Loki needs to basically destroy himself, like cut out all of his branches and turn himself into particles, and then you can suck those particles up and bring them into the present. But he said that you're actually going to have to go out into the space-time continuum to do that, and it might shred your skin off, and then you'll be a horrible mess. They decided to do it. they go out into the abyss. Loki ends up getting sucked through time again. Mobius goes into the realm of space and time to try to pull him out. He uses the machine to try to find him and to pull him out. He couldn't find him because Loki hadn't made himself deteriorate yet. When Loki went into a specific part of the past, he was still in the TVA, and while he was walking through the halls, there was a telephone that kept ringing. We never found out who was calling or who was on the other end of that phone, and my guess is that phone will pop up in various points throughout the season. We're going to keep getting that phone. But then as he was walking towards the phone about to answer it, then female Loki, she showed up and she was in a closet somewhere, and then she saw Loki. She was trying to pull herself out of the closet, and then when she saw him, Loki ended up turning himself into the particles. I don't know why he did that instead of talking to her, or maybe he did talk to her and they just didn't show us their conversation, but he turned himself into atoms and the particles. Mobius found him, sucked him up, zapped him back into the present, so now he's no longer flying back and forth through time. He's in the present, and they now need to come up with a plan, and while they were trying to come up with a plan, they found out that the Irish lady who basically wanted to keep the status quo, she was sending soldiers through time, I guess because they found female Loki somewhere in time, and they were going to go capture her and kill her. I don't know why this girl's still public enemy number one to them, but I guess, we'll get those questions answered as the, season continues to roll on. And then finally, when we saw female Loki, she had ran up in 1982 in a random McDonald's, and she was, then the guy at McDonald's, he was like, what do you want? And then she was like, no animal that's dead. And then he was like, so basically you want a hamburger? And then she was looking around at all the children and got a little teary-eyed because she found out last season that Kang the Conqueror wiped her memories and pulled her from wherever she used to exist, and I guess she's just feeling sentimental about the life that she lost. I have no idea what's happening. This is all very weird to me, but I agreed to do this, so we're doing this. That's how the episode ended, and thank you for tuning in. I'm at the point where, was I impressed with this episode? Hell no. But I understand the gist of what was happening. Like, I understand time travel. It's not a secret. I wasn't a fan of season 1, and season 2 isn't off to a good start for me, but there's still, we're probably going to get the same 6 episodes that we always get with Marvel TV shows. So we got 5 episodes. So I'm like, for 5 episodes, what the hell? I can review it, and we'll see if any of this stuff makes sense as we continue to roll forward. And there is a little interest there because I actually do want to see where it's going. Not because I'm like super invested into the storyline, but because I'm like, this shouldn't make no sense, and I'm just waiting for y'all to make it make sense. See, that's what the episode should have been called. Where's Kerry Washington's sister's character? I forgot what happened to her, but we'll find out as the season progresses. So that was it. So check out my other reviews on my channel because I have Archer on the channel right now, which is the second to last episode before the series finale. We're going to review the series finale of Archer. I have my New York Fashion Week videos that are up on my channel, one of which has passed the 12K mark. So it is my highest liked and viewed video on my YouTube channel. So thank you to everybody who checked that out. Hell, let's keep that shit going to 1 million, see how high we can get with it. And then, like I said, I'm going to New York Comic Con next weekend, and there will be footage of that as well. So that was it, guys. So thanks for tuning in. I guess we'll be back next week for some more Loki action, and also Doom Patrol, because Doom Patrol comes back next Thursday as well. So once Archer ends next week, we're going to have the series finale of Archer, episode 2 of Loki, and episode 7 of Doom Patrol, going into the final episodes of Doom Patrol. So until next time, guys, for some more Loki action, take care. For the man of Mischief, we're out this bitch.